Hello everybody, Ewan Spence here for All About Symbian and another of my video diaries coming to you from America, South by Southwest in Austin, and with the Nokia E7. It's now late on Sunday, the sun is still streaming in from the Texan sky, and I've been 2 or 3 days on the ground at South by Southwest, depending on how you count if Thursday was or wasn't a day at the start. Lots of people arrived early. Social media, social tools. This is probably the main use at a conference like this. So things like Twitter, like Foursquare, other things like Goala, new entrants into the market like Hashable, GroupMe, and Beluga, and so on. All of these are part of the fabric of a major event like this. And yes, the E7 is an enterprise device, but it's going to be used by a lot of people in big jobs that will be looking at tools like this. So how good is the E7 at carrying at this? And as an additional challenge, without using Gravity, because let's face it, you pop Gravity on there, you're pretty solid for Twitter, you're pretty solid for Foursquare, you've also got Facebook, Flickr, photo upload as well. What's it like when you go out of that? When you move away from one application, look at the E7 and the other things it can do? The short answer is pretty well, and a lot better than it could have managed even last year. Let's start with the biggie. Let's start with Twitter. There's a mobile client, you can use the browser. There's the Nokia social networks, you can use that. But the solution that I've ended up using, mainly for cost reasons, but also to a certain extent practicality as well, is good old-fashioned SMS messaging. I've picked up an AT&T SIM card. It's $2 a day. That $2 a day gives me unlimited national calls in the US and unlimited texts. So, got the SIM card, right back to computer, changed Twitter setting around, so now any DM messages to me or any app messages to me, i.e. things that really need to be read and things that people would like me to read, they get pushed to my phone as an SMS text message. This is, of course, Twitter's limited to 140 characters plus some stuff for the names and things, which means it fits in one text very nicely. I also have it set up so that a couple of people that I'm keeping an eye on, a small group of us, are switched on, so I get all the Twitter messages that they send out as well. It's incredibly useful because it's push, it's very low battery power, you're not constantly checking the server, you're just waiting there till the text comes in. So the battery life that scared me wonderfully on the flight over, again, is proving to be useful. And it just works. And this is where something like the conversation thread inside the SMS messaging application is wonderful, because if I go to the conversation from the Twitter, which the Trot handle is 40404 in the US, I essentially have a mini Twitter stream of DMs, ats, and important people to me. And when you've got so many people at a conference like this, that filtering down of noise to something that just works means that Twitter by text works well. One beep, beep, pick it up, look, bang, there. If you want to reply, you open it up, the conversations, you just type it in. You don't need to look up Twitter in the address book, you just keep the flow of conversation going. And it stays searchable as well using the built-in search function. So, Twitter, unlimited text, absolutely fantastic. Let me touch on battery life at this point. Leaving the hotel at about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. At about 5 PM every night, I'm down to about 3 bars after not wanton use, but certainly not deliberately restricting my use of the phone. And it's got 3 bars left. Now, to be fair, I then top it up from the ProPorter Rapid Charger battery, but there's enough there that would get me through to about 11 o'clock, I think, another 4 or 5 hours. My math doesn't work there, it's 6 hours, isn't it? Yeah, it's 6. Clocks went forward today in America, not you get out of things. So battery life does do a whole day, but no more. So I'm kind of chopping up halfway through. Does that make sense? Good. Foursquare. Foursquare is actually got 2 really good solutions here. The first one is in the new version of Avi Maps. Foursquare is now available as one of the places that you can check into, along with Twitter itself and with Facebook. And Foursquare have redone all their badge systems. You get extra points for being in a venue with somebody else. I was up at the Black Star Co-op Brewery, and I got a message saying, this is your first time in a brewery since January. Which is very nice of them. It made me think, go to a lot of breweries, but that's great. So that's built into the Avi Maps client. Wonderful. But at the same time, this is where the Qt-powered native Foursquare application works really well as well. Now, I looked at this on the X6, and it wasn't out for the 5230 last year when it was at South by, and Qt just didn't quite have the processing behind it to make good use of it. Now the Foursquare application, it's getting mistaken for the app on Android and on iPhone. In other words, it looks like the other applications. It looks like Foursquare should look to people who are used to using a mobile client. That's important to people looking at the E7 as a handset. It means that it just works, everything that hooks in, but at the same time, it is dedicated to one thing. Obvi Maps allows you to check into multiple places. And there's also another application super release called FootFeed. I'll be doing a full review on this shortly, that allows you to check in once and do multiple check-ins over other networks, and that includes Gowalla, which up till now has been iPhone only. I believe there's a BlackBerry version as well, and you've never been able to use it on Nokia. This is your chance to use it on Nokia through this third-party client. I'll be honest, I had a quick look at the third-party client, but there's so much time and so much things to do at South by Southwest. The fact that it was using its own population database and then trying to match things up, same way that Obvi Maps does it. But FootFeed's database is much, much smaller, and it just couldn't get a good lock onto my position with the software trying to work out where the phone was. Foursquare and Obvi Maps, the clients, could work out where I was. They worked. FootFeed didn't quite work. We'll take a little longer look at it again today, but right now it hasn't impressed me. What has impressed me is the fact that the bespoke built-in and the bespoke we wrote it for them work as well. So Foursquare, thumbs up as well. That last group, which we kind of already roughly mentioned, using Gowalla, but also those new applications coming out as well. Hashable is a notable one. Probably another one actually is Bump. These are some great apps. Hashable allows you to say, I've met this person, use their Twitter handle, put a hashtag on it, will build up a map of digital business cards that it creates itself, for want of a better expression. Bump is where you take two handsets, kind of go bump them together. It talks to the central server. It recognises the timestamp of the two devices and goes, it was these two devices in the world that bumped together, and allows you to exchange information. It sounds crazy, actually works. They don't have clients for Symbian, and they don't have a fallback of a mobile website. I mean, Foursquare for a long time, m.foursquare.com, which still works, gives you the ability to do it pretty much anywhere. These smaller ones have chosen a market to address, specifically the US and specifically certain types of smartphone users, and they've moved away from providing generic versions to going for a boutique custom version, which means that you can't join in with the E7 and things like Hashable. Whether that is a loss or not, I don't know, because these are companies who are launching at South by Southwest and trying to get market share, and this is a predominantly American conference, but at the same time, they've been building up for a long time. So yes, the E7, you're not going to reach the absolute cutting-edge, boutique, bleeding Web 2.0 properties. I don't think that's a big loss. It is a little bit of a loss, let's be clear here. But for the people who are looking at the E7, the power users won't mind because they will have 27 phones anyway. People who are buying it for an enterprise device and will see benefits in Quick Office and having keyboard and nice solid construction, that will mean more to them than the ability to use the latest shiny toy coming out, in Hashable's case, out of New York, and in terms of various other companies like Beluga and such like out of Silicon Valley. So the E7 gets a cautious thumbs up for social networking from me. It can do the big players and it can do them very well. When you start reaching the fringes of things, it just doesn't, there isn't even a kind of works. It just works, doesn't work. But at the same time, I use Twitter, I use Foursquare, I use a little bit of Facebook, and so when I throw in the social networking application that Nokia provided themselves to do Facebook access, my bases are covered. So personally, E7 does everything for me. For you, your mileage will maybe vary. So YN, NMV. This is Ewan Spence at South by Southwest in the All About Symbian Insight video diaries. Is it an insight? I don't know. You're certainly getting insight into me, so I'll run with that. And it's also, I don't want to reset the camera, we don't have a lot of time. You can leave questions, comments back at the website, www.allaboutsymbian.com. You can also find me on Twitter at Ewan. Welcome to hear your challenges and what you'd like me to have a look at on the E7 while out there. There are a couple of them that have popped up. Thank you for them. Do keep them coming in. You can leave your comments down below. We'll be keeping an eye on them, and we'll catch you in the next Video Insight Diary. For now,